back to One Step Further. I'm Justin Arnold. This is a podcast, a faith-based podcast where we look into your life and we take things you may or may not be doing and a step further. I got Ryan Hogan back here again. I'll let him introduce himself again as well. But today we're talking about how you do one thing is how you do many things. And we'll dive a little bit into that over the next 20 or so minutes. But Ryan Hogan, why don't you go and introduce yourself again?
Sure. Yeah. Ryan Hogan from California. I'm a gym owner, fitness consultant for, 15 years. So I'm out here in California. I met Justin a little over a year ago and we've connected, and he's a great guy. So he's had me on here today, and we're going to talk all things health and how it relates to our life and faith and everything and how it's all intertwined. So yeah, I'm excited to be back.
Yeah. And for those that are watching this and not listening to this, and even if you're listening, you're hearing weird sound effects. So if you're watching this or listening, I am outside. We're working through this COVID thing. And yeah, I'm on my porch. I got 3 kids inside. It just seemed easier and actually less noisy to do this outside. So bear with us. And, it is the times that we're in. Anyway, so yeah, so how we do one thing is how we do all things. And we got to talking about the subject matter because especially now we feel it's important, but just in general, it's like from a health standpoint, for example, like I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, as I know Ryan does too, and business owners. And I've seen them and just by simply improving their nutrition, and then their movement, how their business increases and their life increases, their marriage and parenting. And why don't you talk about that a little bit, Ryan? Maybe your personal experience or even professional.
Yeah, man. Actually, you just gave me a great idea of kind of an example to talk about. I was going to go off on something else, but this is way better. I'm thinking of all my clients that I work with, and some of them are very successful people. We're talking like, the top tier people, right? So, and they're also great people as well. But what I've noticed and just going through my head is who they are, and something, through all the successful business owners that I train, or successful business people in general, the more successful ones, the ones that I know that are really successful and happy and really making things happen, are the ones that are always showing up on time, that are always there. They're never canceling. They've made their health a priority. They know it's a priority. They are always there. They're going to do what I say. They're going to listen. They're going to be open-minded. Those are the ones that are the most successful, at least the ones that I see and the ones that I notice, by far, actually. And you wouldn't even have to talk about business. I just noticed the clients that I have that take their health very seriously and know that it's something that they need to make the number one priority. And I always say the number one priority. I don't say top 5. I don't say top 3 or, interchange it with the family and the finance. Number one, the ones that make it the number one priority are successful in every sense of the word. They're happy. Their families are happy. They're healthy. They're vibrant. You want to be around them. So that's kind of what I think of success, not only the business people, but also just the people that want to have a happy, healthy life. And it goes hand in hand. It's almost night and day.
And that's the thing. Like, we go, and it's just about balance. And God calls us to this. And even if you're listening to this or you're not a faith, like where our bodies are meant and just built was to have that balance. You'll find yourself, if you actually take breaks, you meditate, you work on your health, physically, mentally, spiritually, how your business will thrive. It'll grow. Like you might be doing good. You might be a millionaire listening to this, or you might be doing really well, but what if I told you could do 10% better? So like that trickles over, and like it gives you more confidence. So let's talk about like even if you're into sales, for example, like you're going to go out and talk more people. And if everything's on Zoom or if it's in person, people are going to see that you're healthy. Like, we already know the research is out there. The more attractive you are, and attractive is an interesting word, but the more attractive you are, the more money you make. Now, and also like if you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, like from a faith standpoint, you're going to go out, you're going to reach more people, talk to more people, invite them to church. But if you're not very comfortable in your own skin, you're struggling in that as well. And then family, man, like, we all know about the power of food. We teach an anti-inflammatory program of nutrition, and we know how that helps mental health. So like if you're improving that, your stress levels are lower, your hormones are more balanced, you're not screaming at the kids, you're not fighting with the wife as much. It's crazy the power of health, food, getting that aggression out in the gym, eating quality, clean food. So For sure,
Yeah,
man.
and it comes down to understanding the benefits of it. And I think there's a vast majority of the population that just doesn't understand the benefits of it. And hopefully through this, they will. But yeah, you're right. And it starts from the morning, the second we wake up. If you have a routine, we talked about this before, actually on the last time I was on the podcast, just we talked about the morning routine and how important that is.
About that,
And
yeah.
making, yeah, just, I mean, from step one, making a healthy choice. And a lot of people don't do that. They step one, they either wake up late, they hit the snooze too many times, and then all of a sudden they skip breakfast, and they're already behind the eight ball. And they do that every single day, and it's like they just can't get out of that rut. So the people that I know that are, like I said, that are vibrant, the people that I want to be around, that I'm attracted to, that I'm excited to see, that I can relate to, because that's the way I live, or at least I try to live as much as possible, is making healthy choices throughout the day. Those are the people I want to be around. When somebody is talking to me and they can't see eye to eye and they don't understand where I'm coming from, it's like we're on two different planets and it just doesn't jive. So, healthy people and happy and vibrant and,
You
where
talked
they're,
about,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
you talked about being around people, like, and how that, so you're attracted, the energy, like, so
Yeah.
we'll be attracted to more healthy people, more successful people. And when I talk about success, and I think we look at the worldly view of success as more money in your bank account, titles, and a name tag,
Yeah.
but true success really is mind, body, spirit. Like, if you're mentally good, if you're getting
Yeah.
along with your wife, your children, and you've got just great relationships, and I mean, not everything's rainbows and unicorns, but that where more days are great, and you've got things that you're writing down that you're grateful for, and you got healthy habits. Like, that's true success, when you have that all-encompassing picture of success, when
Sure.
things in balance, when you got a successful marriage, when you got a successful parenting, if you have kids, you're successful in your faith. If you have faith, you're successful in your health. But if you're just sitting around making money and sitting in a chair and you got pain everywhere and you're depressed and you're not.
Justin, I live out in California, and I can tell you this, and I'm sure you see your fair share out in New York, but I live out in California where it's very prevalent, where there are a lot of wealthy people who are considered successful. And I know some of them, and they're some of the most miserable people that I know, and I can't be around them. Now, they have a lot of money and they can do anything they want, but they are miserable. They're not happy.
And I can't,
And,
yeah.
and to be honest, I hear these stories and it makes me feel grateful for what I have. I'm by no means a rich or wealthy person, but that's not what I really shoot for. But I would never give up the happiness that I have to be in the misery that they are in, but they have a lot of money. That's not a fair trade-off for me. And,
No, and
hopefully people can realize that.
agreed. And for those that are listening, we're not saying that like money means you're unhappy.
No, that I know. It was
What
just
if you
kind of,
could have both? Like, what if you can be
sure,
balanced? And
sure.
we truly believe it. Like, what's crazy is, like, I was in a, so I go to meet with a group of entrepreneurs, or I connect with them on Saturday, and me and another guy in the group both agreed, like, outside us not making as much income, this was one of the best, like, times, like that, like this week for both of us, because of the time with our loved ones, our connections, the
Oh,
relationship,
yeah.
chatting, like our energy, like we're doing things like going on hiking trails and trips, and like, isn't, when I talk about trips, like driving an hour away to go to somewhere we would normally wouldn't have time for. It's like, and I'm like, man, I'm like living the dream life right now, and I'm feeling
Really?
pretty grateful that, like, I'm being God's, getting me through this, and so by just having that balance and still staying healthy and fit, and I actually just put this in a live right before this in an Instagram. I'm like, I got kind of frustrated at our grocery store, like, and this is a random story.
No way.
So every time I go there, there's a change, there's a difference. Like, in this one, I don't know why. This, like, I met somebody I hadn't seen in a while, and they were struggling. We got to chatting, like almost 12 feet apart, and they were struggling worse than we were struggling, and it was just reaffirmation. So I offered up help. So I'm feeling pretty good. I hadn't seen this person. I go to church with them. We had a great conversation. Then I'm going to check out. I brought all my reusable bags, because here in New York, you got to have reusable bags. I think it's everywhere now, but it's definitely here in New York and maybe in California, but it's the law.
Yeah.
So I'm getting there, and they won't even touch the bags now. You either got to pay for new bags. So I'm like, this is how, pay for new bags, or I got to bag it all myself. And like, and I know I sound like uppity right now, but I was like,
Oh, I know there's a point coming. Yes.
yeah, no, but like, I was frustrated, because it's like, man, it's like grocery prices already were jacked up, and like, and then I got to pay for bags. And I was just like, you know what? I realized that got me frustrated. But when I left, and I sent a voice text to somebody to give them good vibes because I felt like they needed it. Um,
Mhm.
and that like totally changed my attitude. I know like it's a weird story, like, it turned my frustration to a whole different place to by just like sucking it up and be like, you know what, I'm going to spread joy right now. And by spreading joy, and this is what I put on my Instagram, it totally changed my attitude. I felt so much better.
Sure.
And
So,
I know these things, but it's just like it's like that because I'm in the right mindset, because I'm healthy. Like I'm able to flip a switch
right.
because of that balance. And that's kind of what we're talking about with health. But if I wasn't as healthy physically and mentally, I wouldn't be able to
You're,
flip that switch.
no, I was just going to
Taking
say
home to
that.
my kids, and it's so minor. Bags, really, Justin? You're gonna get mad about that? Yeah, I guess it was just like the straw that broke the camel back, because I'm pretty cool at the store with the masks and literally
Yeah.
6 feet apart and literally feeling like I'm in a bubble. And for those that just don't know me, I'm a hugger and a high fiver, so it's like that's all I needed was one more disconnect. I couldn't connect anymore. So,
But you're right. You're able to put that switch on, and there are a lot of people that wouldn't. That once that switch is off, it's off, and it's
and
off.
that's what I wanted to bring
Can
up.
you
That like
imagine
that we're not all rainbows and
if that
unicorns.
happened to somebody who didn't have our habits or the habits that we try to follow and the habits that we promote? If that happened in the morning, let's say, like say 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. when they go to the grocery store, and that same situation happened, and let's say that's what normally sets them off, their whole day is shot. Their whole day. There's nothing that could get them out of that, and there are a lot of people suffering from that.
Like this is where I've
They
gotten.
don't
It's
know
like
the benefits. They haven't felt that. They don't know what their body's supposed to feel like or the mind's supposed to feel like in such a state of positivity. And once that's done, once that switch is off, it is off, and
See,
it
that's
is
a
hard to
great
treat.
point. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything, and it shows how you go down a domino effect, and that domino effect is what you're talking about. And for
Mhm.
people that don't have that optimal health, they'll go down that rabbit hole. They'll be like screaming at somebody when they're cutting it off. Which will lead into their workplace, will lead home into their family life, but they don't know it because you become like almost like a hamster on a hamster wheel. But
Sure.
you can almost become a hamster on a hamster wheel in a positive way. For example, that car cuts
Absolutely.
off. Like I don't know about you, but when a car cuts me off, you know what goes in my head? I'm like, I wonder.
Screw 'em.
I'm weird, but I'm like, I wonder what's going on with them today. Like,
Totally. Yeah.
I'm like, man, I wonder if I could help them. I'm like I hope they're
20
okay.
years, 20 years ago, I would have chased them down. I would
Yes.
have floored it, honked on the horn, which I don't mind doing still, but I let it go. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. I could put my energy somewhere so
You,
much more positive than
you're,
chasing a guy down and
you,
wasting more time, possibly getting killed. I don't know. Like,
yeah, well, in LA maybe, but like
I know.
you're bringing up some nuggets, man. You're dropping some nuggets, and he just brought up another good point. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything. But like by that energy, look at how it just leads. That energy he's wasting on this person that won't matter 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 days from now, when it could be spent somewhere else, like in a positive way, whether it
Yeah.
be. I'm always going to come back to loved ones, because it's like I feel like we grind away at our jobs and we grind away at our life, and we don't take care of the one thing we can't exchange is our health and our body. And then
Mhm.
we're neglecting our faith, and then it turns into this, we're neglecting our family. And it seems like the things that are most important to us are the ones we're neglecting the most. Our family, if you're a person of faith, and then our health. It's like
Yeah.
those three things, like we put our job out of priority, and we say it is like, well, we're doing all that for these things, but it becomes a point like, are we anymore? Because we're doing it so much that we're ruining the things that are most important to us. And
Yeah.
just
And I think
we're
that's where
from,
having
yeah.
I think that's where having health, then, and it sounds selfish for me to say this, and I say it all the time. People kind of like roll their eyes or like step back and go, "Really, number one priority? Well, my kids are my number one priority." Okay, but hear me out for a second. If you don't put your health the number one priority, and let's say you leave us early, right? You're on your deathbed. You're there at the hospital because you didn't put your health the number one priority. You can no longer see your kids. You can no longer love your kids. You can no longer play with your kids at the park. You can no longer do the things that you've always wanted to do with your kids and your husband and your wife. And
Mhm.
that's all gone because you didn't put your health the number one priority. So you kind of need to be selfish a little bit to let all those other things fall into play. And it's not as selfish as you think. It just takes a few minutes, sometimes maybe an hour out of a day, to just get selfish for just that time and then move on. So that's why I always say, if you make it the number one priority, everything else will fall into place. It'll start promote healthy habits throughout your day, no matter what you do. So if you do go to work, you're going to be energized, you're going to be vibrant, people are going to be attracted to you, you're going to be more successful, you're going to, maybe take your faith a little bit more serious because things start to happen. You start to realize things are falling into place. And, it all it starts with your health. And,
Yeah.
it
And
doesn't have
like,
to be extreme. You don't have to run Spartan races or marathons. It just needs to be a time that you can take in for yourself and really just make it a focus.
yeah, and man, if you guys are wondering if he's telling the God's honest truth, like this guy's canceled so many Zoom dates with me just so he can hang out with his family. So no, I'm just teasing. But like, if you check out his Instagram, like it's like you can tell his fitness is important, but his fitness is so important he brings his kids along for the ride. So Ryan is preaching here, and another thing too is like what he's talking about. Like this tips into your sleep. Like you'll sleep better. So when you're sleeping better, when your hormones are in balance, when you're exercising, when your health's in optimal shape, and we all know the power of sleep. So if you're not getting, let's be realistic. I know not everybody's getting their 7, 8, 9 hours. Me, I'm sometimes only getting 6, but I get really deep, great sleep. I meditate in the morning. I meditate at night. I'm balanced within all these other elements. And so when like these, I call them bad moments come up, which we've talked about several. And I don't say, I never use the term bad day, bad week, bad month. Oh, I can't wait till Friday because,
what you just said is a huge key right there. It's a moment. It's just a small.
And let's break it down. Like, well, what about this? Well, if your boss yells at you, like, are you going to let your boss control the rest of your day? If your boyfriend and you get in a fight, are you going to let that fight control it? Are you going to find a constructive way to figure out what's going on there? If somebody cuts you off, you're going to let that person that you don't even know ruin the rest of your day. Right. What you tell yourself is what you become. So if you're going to take that moment and say it would turn your whole day will turn like, poop. It's a faith-based podcast. I got to keep it clean. Yeah. But like, so like you got to think how you do one thing is how you do another, and then it leads into other things. And I mean, we can turn it around, and we're health professionals, so of course we're going to talk about health, but like if you're letting your business go, that's going to tip into your health. Like, and if you're letting your faith go and you're a person of faith, if it's important to you, like they're going to all tip over. So like, obviously we're going to talk about health because that's our passion, but like, you're going to see how there's got to be that ebb and flow. There's got to be that balance in every situation. And it takes time, but the best tips that I can think about giving you is finding a disciplined life, getting a structured day, scheduling, especially now where it feels like your schedule is empty, and having a morning and night routine, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes, and then just build on that. Because by having that structured disciplined day and scheduling time for your wife and scheduling time for your kids and scheduling these things, having some spontaneity like me, but if that's in you, but just having that in itself will make it happen. Like I myself am guilty. It's like, man, you keep putting something off. So what do? By the end of the week, I hold myself accountable, and I have a group of guys that hold me accountable, and I'm making sure that's happening. So that's another approach. I don't know. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to get in some sort of routine that works for you. And like I said, that is different from person to person. I mean, I hear some routines that work for people. I'm like, there's no way I can do that. Like, there's absolutely no way, but it works for them, and it's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, I think the beginnings and the ends of your days is where I think the wheel can keep spinning in a positive direction, where you start your day off in a positive way, a healthy way, and you end your day in a positive and healthy way.
Yeah, and we talked about that in a morning routine. So like on a few podcasts ago, so you guys can go check that out, and maybe I'll put a link in the bio here on this. But let's kind of wrap this up. Like, if you had to tell people like to take one step further to like, if people are listening to this, like they're right, but how do I even start? Like, what do I even do? Like, how do I check myself? It seems so overwhelming, and they feel like they're in this bad habits already. What's one thing you might recommend?
Man, just get out the door, dude. Just, it's such a tough thing because people are looking for the easy answer, and there's no easy answer to, when somebody says, I want to start getting fit, and I'm just not motivated to do so. How do I get started? And it's like, they're looking for this formula, right? This ABC.
Look for that magic stretch, as I like to call it, or magic pill or something.
Exactly. It's just, it's not a 5-step process, not a 10-step process. It's just, you got to get going. And if you don't know what to do, just do something different than what you were doing, because that isn't working.
If you're not happy in your current state, then it's time to make a change. And it literally starts with one simple thing. I feel people like, well, I've already gone this far. And so that would be my one thing. Like for example, if it's your health that's struggling, Maybe it's just waking up and drinking 24 ounces of water, maybe that's it. And then you just compound on that and you add something every day, every week, but if it's just, the thing is, you got to start today, and you got to schedule it. If it's you're struggling at work, maybe this is time to look into starting a different career, especially if you're like out of work, so start your dreams. And then if it's like a faith thing, man, it always starts with me with the Bible, and then connecting. The biggest thing is you can always connect with experts. There's so much free information out there that people don't understand, that like, for example, reach out to Ryan and I. We would help you with all of these things because we've struggled in these areas, and that's why we know how to give advice in these areas. So I would just say pick one like him, get out the door.
Surround yourself with people that you want to be surrounded by. Like if you know you need to make a change in a certain direction, you see people that are already doing it, you need to surround yourself with people like them.
Yeah, if you're not happy with your
life,
life,
you're surrounded by probably aren't like them or whoever we're talking about. So take a look around you, and whoever the people are around you, then
I don't want to.
You may need to drop them. I mean, it's just the way it is.
I think that's so crazy. Like I was told when I was younger, and I read books about it all the time, like who you surround yourself, but it didn't really make sense till I started seeing it. Like, dude, literally who you surround yourself. Everyone's probably heard this. Listen, you hear it a million times. It's so true. If you do not like yourself, look at the people around you and kick them the heck out. If you're still hanging out with the people you got high with in high school, it's time to drop them like it's hot if they're still getting high. Like unless you're growing a weed from them and that's your dream job. But other than that, man, like I think it's time to check your life. And, and like, if you want to grow more in your faith, hang around faith-based people. If you want to grow more in your faith and your income and your health, trust me, there's people like that out there. I'm one of them. There's people out there. So just look for them, reach out. And if you're completely lost and don't even know where to start, contact Ryan or I, because we would love to serve and help you.
Absolutely, man.
Cool. Well, thanks for your time, Ryan. Unless you got anything
else.
And
great. Awesome,
thanks for tuning in. For those that are listening, make sure you like, share, and subscribe this with the masses for people that you think that could really benefit from this, even if it's not yourself. And go ahead and check out Ryan. Check us all out. I'll put all our information below. And thanks for tuning in to another episode of One Step Further. Take care.